You know, I think sometimes you can really start small and then go big. And the way I'm talking about it is like, I'm not really, you're talking about making a movie for $50,000. You know, Lancelot, if you had a business plan or if you coordinated with a lot of the talent we have, like on the Celebrity Forum with Kede and co, you know, and present that business plan, I'm telling you, you can raise $100,000 in 1 week, right from one single forum. So the key is how you can present it, how investors can feel that their money is secure. You know, Nigeria has a bad reputation of scams and frauds, but someone like you, you've already proven yourself in terms of what you can do. So I believe that if you start small, raising the money, and investors see the return and see the credibility of what's going on, people can begin to put even more money. And I believe you can raise $1 million if you need to, but you just have to start from one place. This is my first time hearing of this need for capital, because I know you guys are already making a lot of money. But what I can see from and you look like $1 million already. But you know what? But what I see from you is that you're trying to scale up. And when you try to scale up, then you need more funding. And so you've established yourself, Lancelot. People know what you can do. Now, what you need is a business plan, accountants, a corporate entity, and where people feel secure that their investments will have a return and will not be squandered. So I believe in not just talking, but doing. You can start doing these things, coordinate with Kede, and I'm one of those who will bring money out.
Oh,
and
that's very good.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people who will contribute, but there has to be an entity, like a lot of some of the other speakers said. People need to know that there's some management, that there's going to be return on investment, and that the money is going to be ethically managed, you understand? And if you do a $50,000 investment and people see a return on that, the next time you ask for $500,000, you will see more investors, and then you can grow organically from there. And so that's what I hope you can do. And of course, there's always a role for government. You know, no matter what the private industry does in terms of copyright enforcement, because that's the only way your organization can really grow. But until we see a government that is responsive, we will continue to scale this up, and you can scale up very easily. And last thing I want to say, Lancelot, is that I hope you and the other Nigerian filmmakers keep your films authentically Nigerian, because I've seen in some of the films, people are trying to bring American film culture into it. People are not watching Nigerian movies to come and see American culture. We are watching Nigerian movies to see Nigerian culture. So please keep it authentic. Thank you.
What I heard Lancelot, what he said earlier on resonates with me because I think he's looking at it from a multidimensional angle rather than looking at it from an individual perspective in terms of the, profiteering tendencies that also abound within this industry. And that is for the sake of our own nation, Nigeria. And I think that aspect of also bridging the gap between the creative industry and those in government, must not be, we must continually focus on that as much as we try to, get investment, private sector investment, so because government has to have an overarching, policy framework that galvanizes this whole arrangements, rather than leaving it just absolutely to the private sector investors. There's not much you can do at the end of the day because you're looking at people who are, Lancelot is done relatively well, like many other creative artists, but there are a lot more that need some level of capacity building. some level of, support, some level of, creating that enabling platform for them to grow. So, and I think this is where the issue of engaging the relevant arms of government comes in. I want to ask, for instance, what is the policy framework, in terms of incentivizing the creative arts industry, of the Ministry of Arts, Culture, and Tourism? Because you need to continually engage. If Donald Duke was able to do it in Cross River, that was because he had that passion as an individual. His personality, certainly came into the whole picture. So how do we get the governance framework, the whole, paraphernalia of government, arms of government, for instance, to buy into this? Because what we see largely in Nigeria is the fact that, and that's where the investors talk about, business case, business case, business case. A lot of our politicians in government, unless they see something they can readily palpate in terms of the money, they do not believe anything comes out from the creative industry. The same thing they do with health, because health is just about delivering services. You don't get to, palpate the cash, more or less. They don't see any value in it, except during elections. So the same thing I see here, because if we say private, and the government is not seen to be involved in this, then we're not going to get, the kind of massifying effect that this thing needs to have, beyond, getting private investors into this. So I'm therefore saying that we must also, in trying to get investors, create some level of opportunity for government to be more responsible, are committed to the creative industry. That's the summary of what I'm saying. I want to commend Lancelot. Lancelot is, I always tell him, is our ambassador. He's done so well. And I think what he's trying to do now is to empower many more people. And I commend his efforts.